Ain't no way that's stealth.
That is
What?
very visually impressive.
He's just casting a spell, like, and then just go
Like
invisible.
invisible or some shit.
Yeah, if you look at it, like, because he's with a
Or like in a
squad.
shadow realm, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not just himself; it's like multiple people.
yeah, he's fucking up a whole squad.
Look,
I wonder if that's got to be more than just turning invisible. Like that's way too bombastic and theatrical to just be a simple invisibility thing.
yeah, and if you look at it, look, it has like the circle around him, like,
Like an aura or something.
yeah, you can like look around
I
Interesting.
him.
wonder if it's like a build thing. Like his specialization is like one
Yeah, because you were
or
saying earlier that
AOE based.
there's no classes, right? It's just
Yeah,
up to how your weapons are. I wonder if your weapons are gonna change the spells you can cast to them. That'll be interesting.
I think so. Like
probably.
if you got a sword, you got a lot of damage base type deals. If you got like a staff, then it's a lot of AOE or buff and debuff type spells.
It could be. I don't know. I A lot of this we don't really know about for gameplay systems. But just looking at what, Nvidia or the official GeForce RTX thing, like, yeah, this is obviously very visually impressive. But yeah, I mean it's nice to see that this game has the potential to look very, very good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot for sure. I
Oh
cannot
That
wait.
fuck,
that's
dude!
really impressive, actually. If that's not like a preset out animation, and if all of those like destructible parts of the environment are actually like coded into the game to behave as their own objects, then that's really impressive because that's a very big step into immersion with like believable physics, and it's very difficult to do that on a big scale with a lot of games. So that would be really cool if they actually do behave as their own entities in the game world and not just like sprites that get tossed around in a pre-made animation and then go idle.
Yeah, because if you notice this like screen, there's like players above, like in the
Hmm.
rock area, and then there's players behind it, and then there's like a player in front of it.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure they're trying to like maybe it's like try to kill this golem as fast as we can before like it reaches a certain like destination. Maybe.
Yeah. What I'm also noticing, since this is a visual thing, like a graphics thing, is the lighting. Right, the shadows on all of the rocks are all consistent with one light source angle, which might mean this is well, I mean RTX is ray tracing, right? Like that's what that stands for.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I mean obviously like with ray tracing enabled, this is that's just what the technology does. But I wonder if that kind of
People have speculated that this game was probably going to be an Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I was trying to find the way to word it, but I was wondering, like, even if you don't have a computer that can support ray tracing, or if you just choose to play it without it for like performance, is how much are your graphics going to suffer? How much visual detail will be lost for the sake of performance for certain people? Because this all looks very, very good, but it's done with ray tracing. It's done in Unreal Engine 5. It's done on a developer's computer, and it's been rendered to the absolute maximum resolution that we can see on YouTube. I don't remember what that resolution is, but it's pretty damn good. So while this is representative of what the technology can do for the game, it's not a representation of what it will do. And I'm more interested in what it will do, what the gameplay will actually look like with ray tracing on, because obviously that's what the consumer is going to actually see and experience. I think it'll still look marvelous. It'll still look awesome. This isn't what it is. It's not going to look like a movie.
We had this scene right here. I like this scene. What do you
That's
think
pretty
about
cool.
this scene, Nico?
Well, towers seem to be the name of the game. I feel like in every clip we've seen, there's involved people riding on golems with towers and all.
Yep,
So
the siege things.
yeah, like the whole seed deal, which seems to be gameplay. And so far, it just seems like it's epic boss battles and siege. So far, that's about it.
Yeah,
So hopefully, there's a little bit more to it than just siege rating, or whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
I know that's a bit of
This part right there, that just like that gives me pump right there just to witness that in like real time.
It does look pretty cool. Big monsters fighting is always something that's awesome to look at. I mean, the entire Godzilla franchise is built on that.
Nico, just imagine like us like being right next to these big boys, bruh. Just
dope. You can see in the bottom, not the bottom left, but center part, you can see they got a little pet right there, little green bastard.
Oh yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch.
Oh, look, and there's even a blue one on the far right. Good work.
Yeah, so pets will definitely be a thing in this game for sure.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they're you know, that's
Yeah, well, I was saying, for all my skepticism with how well this game looks in trailers and how well any game will always look in a trailer, in a reveal trailer like that versus the actual experience, for as skeptical as I am, this could very well be what the game ends up looking. Maybe not one to one, because this obviously is done up with camera angles and certain, lighting, and it has had the entire production value that something like this would have. But this might not be that different than what we end up actually seeing because, PCs are getting a lot more powerful. And if they're marketing or if they're developing rather towards the future PCs that are going to exist that would be able to run things like ray tracing in an MMO this big with no problem, this could very well be very similar to the actual consumer experience. The actual, I guess, player experience, I should say.
Yeah,
Talking like a businessman for no reason.
I love the part that they're bringing this to consoles too, because
Yep.
definitely like the console sphere. If people play on console, and if you out there, you would understand that there's not really a lot to offer in the MMO genre for consoles at this moment.
Yeah, there's Elder Scrolls, which is, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's all right.
Yeah, I mean Elder Scrolls, but yeah, but I'm talking about like new, actual
Oh,
big,
yeah.
like this.
I haven't been keeping up on console releases or really just any kind of gaming news for a while, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not the guy to ask about that. But yeah, it would be nice to see some legitimate console representation here. Although,
Which I'm
you know,
glad because
I'm glad. I'm
if you
glad. It's just
we
like
compare
this is
this
all
to
going to be
like a
for like
game,
next gen stuff.
yeah, this is gonna be only next gen consoles.
Yeah, like PlayStation 5, if you can ever find one, and whatever the hell Xbox came out with. Was it a Series X?
Yeah,
Right?
Series X and S. Yeah,
Yeah.
glad that Xbox has decided to make a cheaper version of a next gen
Yeah.
console. Because if you want to go
They
for
can
a
get they're
PlayStation, it's like
pricey, dude. They are fucking expensive.
the Xbox Series X. It's like the PlayStation 5, but the Series
Yep.
S is like $200.
Oh man, that's not
Yeah,
that bad.
yeah. That's if you
That's
get it
about
like.
what the Xbox One was when it came out, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that I'm glad because, for example, if someone would want to play a game like this, for example, needs a
Uh-huh.
next gen console, whatever, something affordable. There
Oh
you
yeah.
go, on Xbox Series S. And I'm just happy that we're getting finally like an actual new good console MMO besides obviously PC, because the
Hmm.
Also, don't
last
say good. Don't ruin it now. We don't know if it's good or not.
Yeah, that is true. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatch.
I
But
know,
from what we've seen,
but I know damn well this game's gonna be better than a game I played in the past called Bless Unleashed. So so
oh
I'm
We
fuck, I
don't talk
remember
about
that.
Bruno, bro.
God,
We
I
don't talk
remember playing
about.
the beta for that
so
shit.
when you think about it, I'm like, damn, yup, this game is good.
Just a walk in the park.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, there have absolutely been some pretty shitty MMOs that came out on console, Bless being just one of them. Um, yeah, I'm hoping. Here's the thing, Bless looked really cool in the trailers and stuff leading up to it. And even the beta, like it still seemed cool. When I was playing, I mean, I used to play Bless, and like I might have kept playing it if there were a few tweaks to it, because it was genuinely kind of enjoyable. World was interesting enough. The story was, at least something to give a shit about. But overall, that game completely flopped, and it just wasn't very good. But it looked really good up to the launch. Where we are right now with Throne and Liberty looks about the same as where we were with Blessum.
Yeah, I can.
I'm not saying that, I've said a lot of this whole video. I've said a lot of things to be very skeptical, and that's because I'm kind of jaded when it comes to games and their release. I have been since No Man's Sky. You remember No Man's Sky.
True, but No Man's Sky is also like one of the games that,
Yeah, and they fixed it over time, and it's actually a pretty good game now.
I understand what you're saying, yeah, because they
Right,
needed to
right.
get this
I'm being
right,
very skeptical, and I
especially
have been
with
this entire
this MMO where there's no instances where, yes, we will need a big player base, as
video.
they're saying, If there's no instances working around here, we need as many people as possible. Because and then people talking about, oh, my server's dead or this and that, and then
Yeah,
I'm like, the
I
content
I
will be
don't
restricted.
I don't really know a lot about the technical side of MMOs, so I don't really know what no instances will mean in that regard. But what does seem promising is this doesn't seem to be a gimmicky kind of MMO.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
then again,
Yeah,
neither
yeah.
did Blast, and Blast wasn't really gimmicky either, at least as far as I can remember. But I remember, there was some MMO that came out where the whole gimmick was full loot, hardcore PvP, and it died almost immediately because no one wants to play a game like that except for like assholes and griefers who just want to steal people's shit. And that's not how you build a good game. MMOs that have recently come out and like the news in that regard that I know of, the ones that have failed have seemed to be built around a gimmick, something like central to them, that they build the game around this idea that's like kind of mediocre instead of building an actually solid game. What I'm hoping they don't do with Throne and Liberty here is I'm hoping they don't use the whole druid turning into animals thing as that gimmick. I'm hoping that the game isn't just built around this idea of turning into an animal as a player, without the game being very good for the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what
So I'm hoping
you're.
that's what they don't do with this, with the whole turning into an animal thing. Because it's a cool concept. It really is. It's just I hope they don't lean into that cool factor too much. And I hope the rest of the game is actually solid enough to stand on its own. In my eyes, if it can be at least as fun as Elder Scrolls Online, it's a success. It is a good game. It stands up to, in my eyes, the other solid multi-platform MMO experience, which is Elder Scrolls. Doesn't have really a gimmick to it, but I guess you could count being in the Elder Scrolls universe as its gimmick. But overall, it's just a solid, fun-ish MMO that a lot of people play across a lot of different platforms. And if Throne and Liberty can do at least as well as that, then in my eyes, it made it. It has reached the bar. Anything beyond that is great, awesome, as far as good as we can get it. But in my eyes, Elder Scrolls is sort of
It's the only real main thing that's PC and consoles that we really can base
right, because
anything off
everything
of.
else flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.